Alright, so we have Geometry, Module 2, Lesson 2, Explain 3 on page 77. Specifying lines of reflection. So given that we have triangle A prime, B prime, C prime is the image of triangle ABC under a reflection, draw the line of reflection. So we're going to draw line segments and connect the points between A and A prime, connect the points between B and B prime, and C prime. So if you remember, it's the perpendicular bisector, which means the middle point, or aka the midpoint, point in the middle of each of these line segments is what the line of reflection is going to pass through, because the distance from the point to the A and point to A prime has to be the same. So the point in the middle. So to find the midpoint of any two coordinates, you want to make sure you use the midpoint formula, which is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, basically the average, adding them up and dividing by 2. And y value you find by adding your y's together, y1 and y2 divided by 2, or cut in half. Again, finding the average. And that gives you the ordered pair that of the point in the middle between any two points. So they did that for A. They did the initial and the terminal points, the x values. Did it for B, the x values. Did it for C, the x values. Did it for A, the y values, the y values, and the y values. And then you get your answers. Those points lie on your line of reflection. Point the midpoints, plot the midpoints, and draw a line L through them, and thus you get your line. Alright, let's go to the next page. It says draw line segment AA prime, B prime, and C prime to find the midpoint of each of the segments. So this all comes back to having to find the ordered pair of these. So x1, x2, and it doesn't really matter when you're adding at least, but it's always normally by left to right as x1, next point would be x2, etc., etc. So we have negative 2, 3, 4, and 5, so negative 5 plus our negative 3, and we're going to divide that by 2, right? So 5 plus negative 3 gives us negative what? And then if we divide that by 2, you'll get negative 4. And if you notice, that is our x value. And you're going to do the same thing to your y's. Add the y value of A to the y value of A prime, add them up, and divide by 2, and that gets you your midpoint. So start filling this in by using the coordinate pairs and the midpoint formula of adding your x's together, divide by 2, adding your y's together, divide by 2. Pause the video. Let's check your answers. So the midpoint and the midpoint, draw a line through the midpoints and you get your line of reflection. So how can you use a ruler and a protractor to check that the line L is the line of reflection? Well, if you remember, it has to be what? Has to be a perpendicular bisector. So how can a ruler and a protractor tell you if that line is in fact a perpendicular bisector of all those points? Pause the video. Alright, let's see our answers. Use the ruler to check that line L bisects all the points. Use the protractor to check that the line is perpendicular to all the points. Okay, your turn. So given triangle A prime B prime C prime is the image of triangle ABC under a reflection, draw the line of reflection. So remember, you're going to want to use the midpoint formula, and again, come back up here and use this as an example to how to find that line. Pause the video and work through them now. Okay. Let's check your answers. So the midpoint formula for A, B, and C gave us our new points, connect the points, and got our line. Alright, up next is explain for applying reflections. I hope this helped.